Hello, ghost hunters! You may have recently seen some of my shorts about the new ghost hunting game, The Demonologist. But how do you play? If you're familiar with other ghost hunting games, you may run into this game feeling confident, but soon find yourself stumped, especially with some of the new equipment. So let's start with how you even get into a game. This is your lobby where you will start games on your own or with others. Lobbies in this game can be personalized with items purchased from this screen or can be changed to a whole new location. Each lobby has their own unique Easter eggs, some of which are easy to spot and some of which are a bit more difficult to figure out. Because this game is listening to you, you'll want to say specific words you see out loud to see if the game responds. When pressing your spacebar, it will immediately take you to the main screen. However, this will not allow you to access the maps or equipment menus. To do so, you'll need to press your Use key on these screens. Currently, there are 3 maps to choose from, and they each unlock at specific levels. Only one person has to unlock the map for all players to be able to play it. From the equipment menu, you'll need to click this arrow to add items to your investigation. There are limits on some items, so if you see that the loadout is full, it only means that it is full of that particular item. You can see what has been added to the loadout on the main screen. Once you've made it to your haunted location, there are a few things you'll want to check before running inside. This monitor will tell you the ghost's name, which as far as I can tell doesn't really affect your investigation. However, knowing if your ghost is an alone ghost or an everyone ghost is useful. One camera is provided at your location in a very useless spot, but if you bring your own cameras, you can adjust them here. Equipment can be found over here. I recommend that players use items like the spirit box, EMF, and Ectoplasm first, as these are great for finding the ghost. There is a sanity monitor in your tent at the location if you want to check and see how you're doing on sanity. Most ghosts won't hunt until players are below 50%. Remember that staying in the light will help slow sanity drain, so when you're inside, try to keep the light on. Too many lights on will burst bulbs, so turn off the lights in rooms that you're not spending a lot of time in. If your sanity gets low enough that the ghost might hunt, you'll want to carry a crucifix. This is a one-use only item, and once a ghost has come in contact with you, it will burn up. If you're the teammate holding the crucifix, you'll want to try to intercept the ghost to keep teammates from meeting an untimely end. It is possible to kite the ghost, so in a pinch, you can attempt this instead. Sometimes you'll see something move or a ghost appear in an area and assume this is the ghost haunting area, when in fact, it is not. Spots that are labeled with words are easy to eliminate as Easter eggs or game lore rather than actual evidence of a ghost. But if you get evidence with any of your tools, you can be certain you are in the right spot. If you see more activity in a certain area, I recommend focusing efforts there before moving on to another spot. Keep in mind that there is often bleed through of evidence. For example, I got EMF readings in this hallway, but the ghost was actually haunting the morgue on the floor below. And in Cyclone Street, it is not uncommon to get evidence upstairs when the ghost is actually haunting the entryway. This is something that had me stumped a lot when I was new. While I understood how the tools worked, well, mostly worked, how they compared to tools in Phasmophobia had me a bit stumped, so let's go over each tool individually. I found that I had more success with this item when the lights were off. However, it does work with the lights on. Also remember that if your ghost wants you to be alone, it is more likely to respond when no one is around. I often found that just holding the spirit box to my mouth while playing normally would pick up a spirit box response, even without me saying any key phrases. I have the most success with questions like, "Can you speak? Where are you? Are you friendly?" These answers come back a little garbled. Mostly what you're looking for is this, the ghost icon lighting up. If you see this, you have spirit box evidence. Of all the tools, this is the only one I bring 2 of when playing with friends. This is because it is often used for other objectives after you've figured out your ghost type. When using this to find your ghost room or area, you'll need to hold it up to your face and look for what appears to be white paint smears. These are indicators of ghost activity and are mostly found in the ghost haunting area. The UV light can be used on doors and lights the ghost has interacted with to give fingerprint evidence. As far as I can tell, if your ghost interacts with a light or a door, and your ghost also has fingerprints as evidence, it will always appear. I haven't seen fingerprints appear anywhere other than doors and lights, but if you have spotted them in other places, let me know in the comments. When the ESG reacts to the ghost, you will hear an audible sound and also see the ghost appear above the ESG. To evoke an interaction with this item, you can say manifest or show yourself. This is likely the most frustrating evidence. Sometimes ghosts take a long time to interact with Easel. What's more, when the ghost creates a painting, no audible sound can be heard to alert players to this evidence being provided. Players may have more success if they bring a second Easel, but either way, this one is likely going to require a bit more patience for players to get. This evidence is fairly straightforward. You're simply looking for 5 dots to light up or for the number 5 to appear here. Either way, if you haven't gotten EMF evidence yet, every time the ghost interacts with anything, you'll want to use this tool near it to determine if you have EMF 5. This evidence is obvious, and if you've played other ghost hunting games, you'll easily be able to spot it. Freezing temperatures will manifest as puffs of cold air around players. You can use a thermometer to determine this, but as it's not a freely provided tool, I recommend just watching for the evidence. Once all players have selected their ghost types, players will be provided with 3 objectives. These objectives change from one game to the next, but often repeat. If you are collecting salt bags, they will look like this and do not take up an inventory slot. If you are looking for the silhouette of a woman, you will need to use the Ectoplasm to find her. If you are collecting rats, these items will take up an inventory slot and must be placed in the boiler to complete this task. The boiler changes its location from one game to the next, but if you hear the sound of boiling water, then you know the boiler is nearby. Collecting the salt gun parts only occurs on the hospital, and these items are immediately transported to the lobby where the gun can be picked up after all the parts are found. Finding the time of the ghost's death only occurs in Cyclone Street and can be found with the ectoglass on the walls. This spot changes from one game to the next. To complete the pentagram objective, players must stand inside of the pentagram until it completes and then disappears. Uploading data is a timed objective that will not complete for more than a minute after finding the laptop and then sending the data. Finding the lost note does not require players to actually read the note, but it does add to the game lore. If your hunt requires that you have the ghost blow out a candle, you will need to have brought a candle with you. It is a self-lighting candle, so you will not need to bring a second tool to light this. You can ask the ghost to blow out the candle for a higher chance at success. Some hunts will require that you take a photo of the ghost. The camera is not provided for you and has an unlimited amount of photos. If I've missed an objective, please let me know which objective and how you complete it in the comments below. Completing the exorcism is different in each location. For the abandoned house, you'll be looking for 5 fingers to burn in these pots in the basement. For Cyclone Street, you'll be looking for these clocks and then setting the time to the ghost's death time. To adjust the time, press A or D to move the time forward or backward. And for the hospital, you'll need to shoot the ghost with the salt gun. To leave, players will all need to be near this vehicle. Only one person needs to confirm leaving the location. Once you've gotten more comfortable with the game, there are daily objectives that will reset at midnight in your time zone. Although be careful, as some of these are not worth completing, as purchasing the items to complete them cost more than the objective awards. Once you've leveled up a bit, you'll unlock harder difficulties. These difficulties come with more rewards, but also more risks. I would highly advise that players earn a bit of money for the tools they need before going into these harder difficulties. Hopefully this will help some of you in your ghost hunting. Just remember, your journal has a lot of useful information on ghosts, although obviously not all ghost types provide traits by which hunters can easily identify their ghost. If you've played a bit of Demonologist and have your own tips and tricks that you'd like to share with others, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, remember to like and subscribe, and as always, happy hunting!